the touring going on, we can actually get you to come and do some performances for his kids and everything in that program that he's got going. Because, like I said, he's doing some great, amazing things, and I'm sure that he would love to have the kids come and hear you do your thing. They would also probably love to hear G and some of the other poets that are here, but I'm sure that he would love to have you whenever you're coming back home to visit your family and your family of friends as well, because I know you have both family and then the family of friends.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure that he would love to have you pop over there in Raleigh and give a treat to those kids and things of that nature. And the same with Skylar. I'm sure that folks would like to hear you or do some performances, not just in the part of North Carolina that you're in, but also in Raleigh as well. And, of course, there might even be some opportunities for you to eventually get out there to Los Angeles. Have you done any film work yourself yet, Kane? Skylar was talking about the film work that she's doing, and, of course, you're in the film capital of the world.
Man, I would love to. I'm jealous of the work Skylar's doing. Sounds amazing. I'm really anxious and eager for that as a possibility. Like I said, when I moved out there, it was definitely on my mind. But like I said, life has different plans for you sometimes. So I'd have to be in LA, I think, a little bit longer. This last year, if you added up all the time I was gone, I was probably on the road about 8 months out of the year. So I'm thinking in the future, next couple of years, if things slow down a bit and I'm more grounded here, I'd love to just, again, trying to expand the repertoire, learn a new angle of the game. I'd love to start messing with film and video.
Yep. And we all know, and I mentioned it earlier, and I'm going to bring it out and hear from all three of you, we know how important, and you talked about even how you use sports, Troy, and what you're doing. We know how important the arts and sports are in terms of developing critical thinking, but I sometimes think that those mediums don't get the kind of respect that they should get. So I was just wondering if either one of you three wanted to comment on that and how you think we're doing in terms of those kind of mediums getting respect and being actually used, because, in order to succeed in life, you have to know critical thinking, and definitely have to know 2 + 2 = 4 and the basics of sense. But at the same time, when it comes to critical thinking, the arts and, like I said, sports and some of those other things help us create that kind of critical thinking. So I was just wondering if you had any thoughts along those lines as to what that means and how that works for you in your life, and whether we're doing a good enough job of actually showing our support for the arts and sports and things along that line.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it's the age-old question, right? I mean, I think in answering, I would first say I would just want to acknowledge the folks that are out there that are in positions of power, or are in institutions, whether that's schools, universities, nonprofits, foundations that do appreciate it and do support us, and even in this time, like I said, that school in Miami that brought me out, I usually go down there and do a week every year, and they knew I couldn't come do a week this year, but they tried to work me in for a day and help provide an opportunity for the youth, and also help support me as an independent artist. So, but that being said, I think unfortunately, too often the case continues to be that arts are the first thing that get cut. And the last thing to get funded, and people have been talking about this conversation for a minute. Not just, artists, us artists, we always see the value in it, the social, emotional development side, and the intellectual side. But there's been people in positions of scholarship, or we'll call it, academics, like Elliot Eisner, of course, who was the, head of the Stanford Graduate School of Education, who was talking about this for the last 50 years, talking about the importance of the arts and creative thinking and critical thinking, and, getting people to just memorize and recite, rote memorization type learning is not the same as having people try to create something out of nothing, or pull from their own experience and their own perspective to create something that can impact other people's perspectives. And so, unfortunately, I'd love to hear what Troy and Skylar think, but it seems like art continues to be underfunded, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was wondering what you had to think about that, Troy. And also, we know that a lot of times the art, it gets a lot of support from the church community, but then I also wonder if it gets enough support from the church community, because some of our greatest artists, whether they're doing R&B, whether they're doing rap or whatever, they have come out of the church environment. Some of the best R&B musicians were also some of the best church musicians, but sometimes I don't know that all the churches. I mean, some churches do a really good job of supporting the arts. Some other churches maybe not as well. So I was just wondering what some of your thoughts were in terms of what I had asked, and also the church's role in developing and blossoming the artist.
Yeah, I am a huge advocate for the critical thinking component. Yeah, I totally agree that that is what's missing in the world, right? Everybody wants to do what everybody else is doing, and creating a sense of identity and being able to process not just from a work perspective, but even from an emotional perspective, a self-awareness perspective. So I share those same sentiments. As far as the arts, one thing that can it be better? Absolutely, not just from an educational perspective, but also from a church body perspective as well. One thing that we have found valuable, or we've put in place in some of the work that we're doing, is even in that STEM component, they have added the A to it. So not just science, technology, engineering, and math, but the A being the arts portion. And in that arts, we challenge ourselves to run the spectrum, not just in music, but in dance, technology, through IT, and really with the last two cornerstones of our program, the first two being love and consistency, and the last two being opportunity and exposure, really taking that time to connect and collaborate with other nonprofits that is their focus. Okay, well, we have the children, you have the technology or the music or the rhythm and drums or the tap, in dance, ballet, whatever that cake may be, in marrying the two, like really being intentional about how we share spaces and collaborate, because at the end of the day, it's really about the kids. So I think through collaboration, really being intentional with time, we can really change the trajectory or the dynamic from just the little works that we do. We have a saying that says a fist, not a finger. We can do a little bit by ourselves, but we can do a whole lot more together. And I think if we keep that mindset and really push that agenda, especially for our culture, man, because that rhythm and blues and music, all that started from our culture. So really being intentional of the collaborations. Like, I look forward to hanging out and chopping it up with the young lady and the young man on the phone. If nothing else, even if you do come over to the boys, I want to come to Cali. Like, I want to be able to experience some of those other cultures and bring that back over here and vice versa. So we've been very intentional with the time and the talents that we connect with in an effort to really push that agenda to make sure that that critical thinking stays within the population, not that we serve, but it can be a ripple effect.
And Skylar, what are some of your thoughts on that? I mean, you went through the school system, and I was wondering, did you feel that you got enough support of your arts when you were in the school system, whether that was on the grade school level, or if you did the college level, whether it was on that level? But did you feel that you got enough support, or was it not till you joined the organization that you're part of that you got the kind of support that you're looking for?
In school, I want to say the learning, but from the actually getting things done perspective, like, I mean, every time I've ever did an audition or I ever applied for any acting role, I always end with this statement. I always say, the talent is here, but I'm just waiting for my opportunity. I got married at 22, and then I stay in North Carolina. It's kind of hard, and especially where it's more poverty areas, to get that opportunity or to have anything for us to do, because a lot of times they're trying to keep the kids from getting in trouble, and you got a lot of other stuff to worry about. But I most definitely agree, like, they really don't show the full support that I feel like it could be better. It could be better. Yep. Even if we had the resources. If we had the resources down here that could be like, okay, well, I'm gonna send you to this audition in LA, but we don't have that. Like, we have a lot of acting agencies that's online. Most of the time they want to charge you a fee. My thing is, if I could bring you money, let's work together. If the talent is here, see what I'm working with and go off faith. But a lot of times they need money. And a lot of times, I mean, I have 5 kids, and I do everything by myself. The work, I'm buying my first home. Like, I do everything my own. So when it comes to my career, since I've been working with BBD Like, they have been awesome. Like, when I met them, the love was there. They took me right under their wing. Like, I mean, it was wonderful. So, I mean, I agree with that. Like, I just believe the support could be a lot better, especially for people like me, because it's a passion. Like, I wake up every morning, and that's the first thing I think of. And I cannot rest until I get to where I want to be.
Wow. Definitely, I can definitely relate to what you're saying and everything. And you're right, a lot of times people are finding these kind of things where they're being charged money. And I'm sure even you run into that, Kane, where there were people that were trying to take advantage if you wanted to charge money, even though you were trying to find ways to make money, and they were probably charging fees and things of that nature. So I can definitely relate to what you're saying and along those lines. I was hoping, I don't know what time you've got to jump off, Kane, so if you can stay all the way till 8:30 or 9, that'd be great. But if you have to jump off, I understand. But that being said, if I can get a shorter piece that you can do, I would appreciate that. And we've also got Ronald the Gifted One, another poet that I know you know, on the line as well, because we do like to highlight creatives and things of that nature. So, he's part of our poetry community, so I'll probably have him recite some stuff as well. If you want to stick around and listen to Ronald the Gifted One, then that'll be cool. But that being said, I do want to know if you've got another short one that you can share with us along those lines, because like I said, the other one was along with it, and we appreciate it. But I wanted to see if you could drop one, maybe one that's more of maybe a 2-minute or a 3-minute piece, and then I'll bring Ronald in, and we'll continue the conversation with him also.
Yes. Cool, man. No, I can definitely hang around. I was thinking maybe kick a verse for you all on the second one, since I'm working on a new project, and that's definitely a part of my work as well. So my nephew actually plays guitar and makes beats, and he recently just made a track. So we're collaborating on our first one. He's just graduating high school. So I just wrote these verses the other day in quarantine. So I'll share what I got so far.
Okay.
A little more playful.
Sounds good.
I got that flair like Rick. That's just in my nature, boy. Paper boy, stick to my roots. I'm on a quest, love. Ain't no Tesla. Giving that gas to you, bro. Cooking it special with my nephew, proving his magic in our blood. Loving that grub on that humble pie. Fasting when I brag, well adapted to the open sky, raptor on attack, been fly since way back, pterodactyl with the swag, we done graduated, boy, flipping the tassels to the back, cop the costume for my mama, that's a notch up on the bucket list, heavy hunger, I hustle with slumbering is a luxury, choose the grapes in your bubbly, silver spoon in your cutlery, I drag my gems from the dirt, ain't had no truffle pig, dirty south, word of mouth, blurted out, rude. Ready to break the many that fake, the minute they make they move. And sensitive ain't no primitive trait. I'm willing to face the truth. I got that feminine strength from women that made me into the man I choose. Silence is said to be golden, but I defy it. I was chosen. My saliva is most, and I get it cracking like Leviathan. Tensions is holding fire in every doses. Highest intensity voices. Zion and pelican clothing. Putting my dukes up, but Carolina blue blood. Southern boy, raising my fingers up to the Ku Klux. True love for the region I'm from means that I shun any monument or statue that made a prophet from shackles. Why spot you in the present when the violence you're attached to should have died up in the past? Try to hide you like a tattoo we wish we never had. Cheap Confederate brand. Next generation, we should raise them instead of a flag. Bury the false idols, restore vitals to the divided. Build a pedestal for every soul we ever lost sight of. Swinging around katana blades, tearing down any sign of hate. Chopping them in a piranha beta, cooking them on the flame. I'm grubbing on that humble pie. Y'all on that prima donna cake. Stuck up in your headspace. I'm going to be McConaughey. My inner state stiller than monasteries and hideaways. I know who I am, and Mama taught me who I am.
Wow. Another powerful one again and everything. All I can say is that you always amaze me every time that you do your work. UG, of course, Desan and others, y'all just do some great work and are always putting out some amazing things out there. And definitely not afraid to tackle issues. I heard the reference to the monuments and the Confederate monuments and things of that nature. So I'm glad that you're not afraid to tackle some hard-hitting issues, and I mean, you probably even got some pieces to tackle that idiot in D.C. and things of that nature. But before we get to that, if you have one or don't have one, I do want to bring Ronald GiftedPoet Lavender onto the call as well. He's been anxiously waiting to get on the conversation. So I want to see what he's got going on. So, Dean, if you'll bring him on, and we'll continue this conversation rolling along. We got about another 45 minutes or so, and I think we're having a very enlightening and wonderful conversation with our creative community, and glad to have them all on. But if you'll bring Ronald GiftedPoet Lavender on.